Hey everyone, welcome back to Fiscal Voyage. I'm Felix, and today's video we're going to talk about Airbnb, and we're going to see if Airbnb is a buy at the current price because Airbnb a few days ago reported earnings last week, and it had a tremendous drop over 15% or so, and we're going to see if that's a buying opportunity with this video. So I'm going to let you know everything that I look at when I analyze these stocks. So make sure you hit that subscribe button for more videos like this. So first off, let's go always to Fast Graph. Fast Graph, I use it as my number one tool to see valuations in companies. That's my first thing before I dig deeper. I want to see if is it something interesting to look at. And you can see here, based on Fast Graph, it looks fairly valued. Obviously they became public in 2021, and then just in 2022 they had profit of $2.79 per share, so that's great. And then since then, 2023, $7.24, and then this year they're having a down year because obviously after COVID, a lot of people were all started to travel. Everyone was trying to travel, and then now with inflation hitting everyone and things like that, there's less spending for traveling, so that's what's kind of like driving earnings down. So there's less people booking places and traveling because of inflation and higher costs of living and things like that. So Airbnb is taking a hit. But is this an opportunity? I don't think so just yet. I'll show you why. So first, let's look at some things here. So analysts are expecting earnings to grow in 2025 and 2026, 13% and 17% respectively. So that's real good. I like analysts expecting earnings to grow in the future because, we can't buy the past. We're buying for the future. And you can see here, long-term debt to capital is very good actually, 21.56%. So that's real good. Earnings yield 4.7. I like to see this at 6.5 or higher, and especially for a growth company, I would like to see this 7-8% or higher. So because they don't pay dividends, Airbnb, so this is definitely a growth company. So I want this higher. And then other metrics that I like to look at, if we go to Morningstar, price to sales on growth stocks, I like to see this under 3. 3.3 and under 3.0 or 2.0 ratio price to sell is what I like to see on growth stocks. And this is at 7.16, so that's high in my opinion. So that's why I don't think it's a good buy at the current price. Another thing I look at, price to earnings. Price to earnings looks good at 15.57, considering it's growing at double-digit rate. So that's pretty good. And then the PEG is also good. You like to see this under 2. So this is real good at 0.13, but just the price of sales and the fast graph is not what I'm liking. Over here, further low in the financial health section here, debt to equity 0.28. That's very good. And revenue growth over the 3 years is 43.19%. So that's real great. So all of these profitability looks great. Net margin at 46%, invested capital 47. So all this stuff looks great. Looks perfect. But just the price to sell, I like to see this around 3 or lower. Be interested, and I'm gonna go show you technically also why I don't think right now is a good time to buy Airbnb. But let's continue on. Yahoo, they have a average target at 130 right now. Airbnb is going for 113, so it is undervalued based on Yahoo analysts. One other thing that I like here is if we go to the revenue growth, where is that here? Here, revenue estimates, 40 analysts for 2025 and 39 in 2024. You can see here the average estimate 11 billion and 12 billions in 2025. So that's good. So they still expect revenue to increase. So that's good. I like to see that. Another thing I like to look at here is the next 5-year earnings growth, 18.6. So that's kind of like it's higher than the fast graph earnings growth for the next few years, but it is in that double-digit range, so that's real good. So overall, so far, so good. I like it. Just the price is not what I'm liking right now. And also, if we go to the SEC document for the Airbnb put in for their earnings release, you can see here in the consolidated revenue section, you can see here for the 3 months for the quarters, second quarter, they increased revenue in 2024 compared to 2023, so that's good. Total costs did increase, so that's not great. The income from operation was lower, but you can see here income before taxes was higher, so that's good overall. This is the 6 months. You see here is higher as well for income before taxes. Another thing we look at here, net income for the quarter, you can see it's up, so they're still more profitable. So that's all good. All that I like a lot, and I use Airbnb also. I have a trip coming up, and I use Airbnb to book, because whenever I book, say go to a trip for more than 2 weeks, I like to book Airbnbs because I like to make it feel like a home. Another thing I want to look at is the Schwab here, and we're going to look at Morningstar analyst, and they have a 3-star rating with a fair price at 130. You obviously the price is at 113, so it is undervalued based on the Morningstar analyst of $130 as the fair value. But again, I don't think that, because we're going to look at technically. This is where technically shortly is where I am interested in buying shares. CFRA also gives it a 4-star rating as a buy with a target at 137. Obviously is around 113 the price here. And you can see here they expected 3 years earnings growth of 22%. You can see here 2024 $4.18, and 2025 $4.73. Again, things that I like to see. Earnings continue to grow year in, year out. Revenue here, you can see here, is expected to increase compared to 2023 to 11 billion, and 2025 to 12 billion. So that's all looking good. Everything is looking good financially in their statements and stuff. The only thing I don't like is the price. So now let's go to the chart here for Airbnb. And the reason why I don't like the price right now is because I want to buy it. If we go to the monthly chart over here, I want to buy it right here in that level, the $90 level. This is strong support right here, and it looks like that's where we're heading. You can see here at that $90 range, I'll even start picking up around $95. Anything under $100, really, I'll start maybe nibble some, and then going pretty full around this $80 to $90 range. This is where I want to buy, because it's strong double bottom support here. You saw it, we got 3 big red bars, and then support here, and then more support here. So the double bottom, so I like that as big support. Now if we go to the weekly chart, and this is why I think it's going there, and we draw a trend line from here to here, you can see here this is a beautiful trend that was broken. If you guys do some technical analysis, this is a sell setup with a trend line here that broke. So what I expect is, even if it goes up here, it may hit this trend line, the backside of the trend line, to retest it and then come down lower if there's a whole market crash or something like that. That's where because I want to buy it at $90. Anything really under 100 is where I want to start buying shares of Airbnb. I use their products for the past since 5-6 years. I've been using Airbnb for my vacation. So I like the platform. I use it all the time. I have friends that use it, so I like to buy things that I use. So this is why I'm interested in buying shares of Airbnb, but at this price. Anything under $100, and then really go in around $90 to $80 because of this double bottom. This is beautiful right here. Double bottom, strong support area. And if we go back to the fast graph, this $90, over here, fast graph with a PE of 15 gives it a 63. I don't expect it to get to 63 because of the growth potential that I mentioned earlier. So I wouldn't expect it to go to $63, but I would like to see it, under this blue line, under the 24 PE based on 2024 earnings estimate of $4.16. So I would like it to see it around the $90 or so range, again, because we got a double bottom. We have good growth potential, as you saw earlier. Low debt, the balance sheet looks great. So overall, I like it a lot. Airbnb, it's just I don't like the current price. So I'm actually waiting. I actually create an alert here, and Thinkorswim just created an alert. Actually, let me put this a little higher, around $90, kind of like $91. That's where I would be interested in looking at Airbnb. So that's what I like. And you can see here on the weekly chart also, the 50 moving average bounce here, was bouncing here, and then it broke. So I could expect it to jump here to 140 or touch this trend line around 150 and then come back down, right? Because now it broke this support on the 50 moving average. So it may hit it back and then come back down. But that's where I'm waiting. I'm waiting for $90 to 100, buying shares of Airbnb and holding for the long term. You know, even though Airbnb has issues with like a lot of tourist cities, you know, trying to crack down on Airbnbs because, you know, the locals are complaining about rent prices increases because of Airbnbs and stuff like that. Sure, that would affect Airbnb total revenue, but those, you know, a lot of these places require tourists, right? They survive on tourists, so it won't go away completely. It's just, you know, maybe not as many places, but they'll still be there. So that's what I like the Airbnbs, and why I'm interested in buying shares of this, because, you know, this is, for me, this is great business. They really have no real estate, you know, they're the middleman in the travel industry. And like we mentioned, the balance sheet would look good, revenue growth is looking good, earnings growth is looking good. You can see here forecast here, long-term growth, you can see over 15% more in the middle of Yahoo estimates and Morningstar estimates. So it overall looks great, and I'm interested in buying shares again around the $90 or so range. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think of Airbnb at the current price. Are you buying shares? Do you own shares? Do you even use the platform when you travel? Let me know in the comments. I really appreciate it. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video for more content like this. And I'll see you guys on the next one.